For the last couple of years, we've really all been experiencing the AI revolution through a very specific kind of narrow lens. Talking. We type a prompt, we get a text response back. It's a simple call and response dynamic, right? But we are right now standing at the absolute edge of an evolutionary leap. We're shifting from traditional AI chatbots that just talk to you to AI systems that actively work for you. So today in this explainer, we're unpacking a profound shift in technology. We are looking at the new personal agent layer. Think about the tools we use today. Current chatbots are basically incredibly smart encyclopedias. You ask them for a recipe, maybe a code snippet or a summary, and they deliver. But what happens when the AI stops just answering questions and actually starts taking action? To put it into perspective, think of the shift like this. A chatbot is a brilliant consultant who sits at a desk and gives you advice. These new action agents, they're like eager interns who literally have access to your keyboard, your email inbox, and yeah, your credit card. They don't just tell you how to do something, they go out and do it for you. Okay, let's dive into this. We've organized this complex shift and honestly more than 14 different tools from Thorsten Meyer's research into 5 clear chapters today. 1. Beyond the chatbot. 2. Meet the action agents. 3. Personal, enterprise, and public use cases. 4. The crucial governance layer. And 5. The next AI interface. So, Chapter 1, Beyond the Chatbot. Let's look at how we're moving from talk to action, because the next wave of AI products is fundamentally about executing workflows across your entire digital life. This shift entirely redefines our relationship with software. Meyer's research identifies a brand new category called the persistent personal action agent. And listen, this isn't just a coding assistant, and it's certainly not a no-code automation tool like we've seen in the past. It's an AI that remembers your context, uses your tools, controls your software, and acts across your digital environments. Early examples of this, things like OpenClaw and Hermes, sit directly at the center of this shift. There aren't just websites you visit. They're meant to be a constant presence. To really grasp what makes these agents different, we gotta look at their 5 defining traits. First, they take action. They don't just answer you. Second, they actively use tools, browsers, local files, and apps. Third, they have persistent memory, which means they build a deeper, evolving model of you across multiple sessions. Fourth, they work across familiar surfaces, whether that's your desktop, WhatsApp, or enterprise systems. And fifth, and this is a huge one we're going to return to, because they touch sensitive information, they require serious permission, audit, and safety models. These rules show us that this technology is building a persistent layer around your entire digital life. Moving on to Chapter 2, Meet the Action Agents. The market is already splitting into distinct lanes here: self-hosted, managed, memory-first, and infrastructure. So let's compare the heavy hitters. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive core tension in this new market. On one side, you have OpenClaw. It's open source, self-hosted, and offers deep local control. It actually clears your inbox and checks you into flights right from WhatsApp or Telegram. But it's sensitive. You have to actively maintain your own security. On the exact opposite side, you have ChatGPT Agent. It's a managed service, consumer simple, and fantastic for general-purpose web workflows and spreadsheets. The trade-off is incredibly clear here. Self-hosted tools give you complete control but demand personal responsibility. Managed tools give you a polished, convenient experience but require you to put your trust entirely in the provider. Chapter 3, Personal, Enterprise, and Public. Because at the end of the day, autonomy is only helpful if you're using the right agent for the job. Let's start with personal use, where proximity to your private context is literally everything. If you want an always-on private assistant right in your chat to handle quick tasks, OpenClaw is your top contender. But if your priority is an agent that actually learns your daily routines, remembers specific projects, and creates reusable skills for the future, Hermes is ideal. And for technical users who need an agent to execute local code, interact with local files, or do data work right on their machine, OpenInterpreter is incredibly powerful. Just remember, bringing these deep into your personal context means balancing the massive power of self-hosted tools with the personal responsibility of actually securing them. Now, when we step into the enterprise space, the rules completely change. Enterprise adoption won't be decided by how autonomous an AI is. It's going to be decided by single sign-on, audit logs, and data encryption. Cloud Cowork is a major player here, targeting non-technical knowledge workers by handling files and everyday desktop apps autonomously. Lindy is another standout because it's built specifically for business operations, proactively managing your inbox, meetings, and calendar. In fact, Lindy is SOC 2 Type 2 certified. That is the enterprise gold standard for data security, and exactly the kind of compliance enterprise demand before letting an AI touch their internal data. And for massive cross-application workflow automation, Adapt takes the lead. Then we have the public and public sector lane. If you're creating public-facing deliverables, things like research reports, explainers, or media, GenSpark is an excellent all-in-one workspace. For turning broad goals into polished websites and app prototypes, Manus is highly effective. And for sovereign, self-hosted knowledge portals, Hoj is a fantastic choice. But a major warning from the research here. Public sector operations require incredibly strict compliance. With regulations like the EU's AI Act already rolling out, you absolutely cannot simply deploy autonomous agents onto sensitive citizen systems without rigorous human approval and auditability. Which brings us to Chapter 4, the crucial governance layer. I want to shift our pace a bit here and slow down, because we really need to talk about the massive security catch that comes with all this power. To ground the stakes of what we are talking about, look at this quote directly from Anthropic's own safety documentation for Cloud Cowork. It says, giving an agent access to files, browsers, connected services, and apps creates risks users need to understand. They are telling us outright that desktop access creates an entirely different threat surface than an ordinary chat window. OpenAI echoes this, heavily flagging prompt injection. That's where a malicious website basically tricks your agent into taking harmful actions. And that is a major risk for any agentic system handling sensitive data or browsing the web on your behalf. This builds into a definitive, non-negotiable checklist for deploying these systems. First, least privilege. Agents should only have access to the exact tools they need for a specific task. Second, human approval. You absolutely need a human in the loop before an agent makes a payment, sends a message, or alters an account. Third, sandboxing. Local execution agents must run in isolated environments so they don't, break your computer. We also need strict audit logs, secrets isolation so agents don't casually read your passwords or API keys, and robust prompt injection defense. The rule here is simple. The stronger the autonomous agent, the stronger the governance must be. No exceptions. All of this leads us to our final chapter, Chapter 5, the next AI interface. Companions, not just apps. As we look at the trajectory of OpenClaw, Hermes, and the managed enterprise agents, the core takeaway is this. We are heading toward a future where the primary interface for artificial intelligence completely replaces the traditional search box and the chat window. Instead, your AI operates as personal infrastructure. It's a digital coworker that knows your specific context, waits patiently in the background, and seamlessly acts on your behalf exactly when needed. But as we embrace this incredible leap in productivity, we are left with the defining question of this new era. It's the hurdle every developer, enterprise, and everyday user must clear. How can an AI agent act for me without becoming a security, privacy, or accountability nightmare? Keep that question in mind as you start delegating your digital life to the interns of the future. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.